Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. In this video, we're going to talk about dreaming some more, specifically because as I've been doing this little series of dream videos, some of you have reported that you don't dream or it's really hard for you to remember your dreams, and I didn't want for you to miss out. I knew that there had to be some way that you could help with your ability to dream and remember dreams. So this is for you, but it's also not just for that group. Some more information about dreams, the nature of dreams, specifically what Brigham Young said about dreams, about traveling beyond the veil and visiting interesting places. And then I'm going to go over something that James E. Faust, who was a member of the first presidency, what he said about dreams and communicating with those on the other side of the veil. So it's something that you probably do want to do, to be able to dream and have these sacred experiences. So, just really quick before we get into that, I haven't updated uh, the Book of Mormon sharing challenge numbers since yesterday. I'm recording this on the 3rd of June, but we're at 5,847 copies of the Book of Mormon that have been shared and 572 people that have joined this challenge. So make sure to work on this. Let me know once you share a Book of Mormon. Include hashtag flood. It makes it easier for me to find your comments. And then make sure to keep the comments short, or the emails. Okay, so now I've already done an extensive video about this particular discourse that we're going to go over. In fact, we read the whole thing. It's loaded with really interesting information. So I did this back on July 4th of last year, the 4th of July. So we're going to revisit this, but just one key part. Okay, and then toward the end of the video, we're going to go over the things that you can do to aid you in dreaming. So here we go. Brigham Young, this is in 1853. Discourse by President Brigham Young delivered in the Tabernacle in Salt Lake City. Okay, this is what it says. He has caused us to forget everything we once knew before our spirits entered within this veil of flesh. For instance, it is like this. When we lie down to sleep, our minds are often as bright and active as the mind of an angel. Something that science has proven, by the way, but I'm going to show you. At least they are as active as when our bodies are awake. They will range over the earth, visit distant friends, and, for aught we know, the planets, and accomplish great feats. Do that which will enhance our happiness, increase to us every enjoyment of life, and prepare us for celestial glory. But when we wake in the morning, it is all gone from us. We have forgotten it. The illustration will explain in part the nature of the veil which is over the inhabitants of the earth. They have forgotten that that they once knew. This is right. Were it different, where would be the trial of our faith? In a word, be it so. It is as it should be. Okay, so let's just go over that again. To summarize, he says that what is very possibly happening, and I think he's authoritatively saying what is happening, ranging or like going across the earth, visiting distant friends, even planets, accomplishing great feats. Like what feat are you accomplishing when you're dreaming? Well, I think there's a number of answers to that. Use your imagination, and then do that which will enhance our happiness, increase enjoyment of life. But this is like a big one right here. Prepare for celestial glory. So there probably is a lot of value in dreaming and remembering those dreams and recording those dreams. Preparing us for celestial glory. That's pretty big. That's huge. Now, just a quick thing to back up what he said about your brain being your mind being active at night. This is in Scientific American. It says, after SWS, which is shortwave, what is it? Shortwave sleep? Okay. After shortwave sleep, REM sleep begins. It stands for rapid eye movement. This mode is bizarre. A dreamer's brain becomes highly active while the body's muscles are paralyzed, and breathing and heart rate become erratic. The purpose of REM sleep remains a biological mystery, despite our growing understanding of its biochemistry and neurobiology. So they don't know what's going on. But guess what? I think that this prophet of God, Brigham Young, I think he knew what was going on in the purpose of REM sleep. And spiritual things and scientific things are not separate, they're the same. Additionally, this is from Notre Dame. It says here, your brain doesn't take the night off. Turns out your brain pulls an all-nighter when you hit the hay. Many regions of the brain, especially those involved in learning, processing information, and emotion, are actually more active during sleep than when you're awake. Yeah, so if you're being taught things in your dreams, receiving complex information in the form of parables, symbols, allegories, like we've talked about, that would make sense that the part of your brain involved in learning and processing information and emotion are more active. Something incredible is happening when you're asleep. Okay. Then, excuse me, a quick other quote from James E. Faust, April 2003. This was during the time of President Hinckley. He says, as we get older, the pull from our parents and grandparents on the other side of the veil becomes stronger. It is a sweet experience when they visit us in our dreams. Oh, I forgot to read the first part. I believe there is a strong familial pull as the influence of beloved ancestors continues with us from the other side of the veil. So, again, dreams, meeting with deceased family members. I just want to point out, too, going back to Brigham Young, he talked about visiting distant friends. You have to wonder, is there some way in which you communicate, interact with others in dreams as they're dreaming at the same time? Don't know. I'm sure you maybe have had that thought before. I have. But whatever he means by this, ranging over the earth and visiting distant friends, and then James E. Faust talking about our loved ones on the other side of the veil. Yeah, I think that's a lot of reason to want to be able to dream. So I'm pretty sure that these things take place whether or not you remember them, right? Brigham Young was talking about how dreaming and then waking up, it's just like the veil, but it's like when we dream, we're permitted to perhaps remember some of the experience of what's going on while we're on the other side or experiencing the other part of reality. So I wouldn't worry too much if you're not dreaming or missing out, but I do think that it's important that we remember the dreams because up until now we've heavily focused on how it's important to record dreams and how a lot of revelation comes to you at night. And the reason why I postulate is because it's similar to parables, and also going to the temple, which itself is an allegory and full of symbols. Symbols and parables in gosh, in modern terms, I like to think of them as zip files. Um, a zip file, if you're not familiar, is like when you download like a bunch of pictures, for example, and you email them to somebody. Well, there's a process by which those files are compressed, so they take up less room. So, because there's like restraints when it comes to emailing, you can only have so much information in there before it's too much, and so. Or like when you download something, it's easier to transmit the program or whatever if it's in a what's called a zipped file. So it's encoded in a way that's like less compressed, and then when it reaches the other side, you extract it. You unpack it, you uncompress it. And I really think that's what happens with dreams because I'll tell you what, I had one just now. I just woke up. Um and I was like, you know what? There's nothing to that dream. There's too many gaps. Like whatever. And I was like praying to Heavenly Father, like, should I record this? Does it matter? And he's like, try. And said it twice. And so I did. And every single time, especially this time, I'm always surprised as I start to actually write it down and record it, how much actually comes out of the dream as I'm describing it. And it's really like it's a zipped file. Okay, now lastly, is it possible to sleep without dreaming? And what do we do if we want to dream? Science hasn't been fully able to explain the purpose of dreaming. It may be a way to help us process emotions and make sense of the world. That's probably why even the most outlandish dreams contain snippets of reality. And we've talked about dreams that are outlandish, how being outlandish and weird and bizarre helps you remember it. That's how the brain works. When you come across something that's weird and outside your experience, you tend to remember those kind of things. Okay, how dreams work and why you may not have them. Oh yeah, by the way, this is from Healthline. We can't know for certain if a person never dreams. We do know that some people rarely, if ever, recall their dreams. If you have trouble remembering dreams, you're in good company. Most of us have 4 to 6 dreams a night, but we forget the vast majority of them. The dream you're most likely to remember is the one you had just before waking up. Dreams tend to occur during the REM cycle of sleep. A 2019 study noted that our ability to make memories is impaired during REM sleep. Maybe because there's a veil there, and sometimes you do come out with information, but other stuff stays over there. That would explain why we're prone to forgetting dreams. Missing out on REM sleep could mean missing out on dreams too. Poor sleep can be a consequence of a health problem or a contributing factor in one. So it goes over sleep disorders like insomnia, where you can't fall asleep. It's hard for you to fall asleep. And then sleep apnea, which I have, which if you have that or suspect that you have it, go to a doctor. And then if you do have it, they will get you a CPAP machine so your sleep isn't interrupted. It's a dangerous disorder. If you think you have sleep apnea, you should go see a doctor. Other factors that may contribute to poor sleep include alcohol, tobacco. Probably not an issue with most of this audience that I'm talking to, but caffeine. We all that know that caffeine affects sleep and your ability to fall asleep. Medication side effects if you're on some kind of medication, and then stress. So maybe look at your stress levels, see if you can work on that. And then it talks about different disorders, depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety disorders. They can affect your sleep. You should see a professional for help with that. Medication for anxiety or depression. It mentions medications like Prozac and Zoloft. Okay, does not dreaming affect sleep quality? There's a connection between quality of sleep and dreaming. If you're dealing with insomnia or sleep disruptions, you may be missing out on REM sleep. This is the stage where you're most likely to dream. Lack of quality of sleep can make mental health disorders worse, and mental health disorders can exacerbate sleep problems. Tips for remembering your dreams. Okay, take note. And I'm going to put this in the description so you can reference this later. Either way, here are a few tips to promote your dream recall. Before going to sleep, tell yourself that you want to dream and remember those dreams. Place a notebook and a pen next to the bed. In my case, you guys, I just use my phone. It works for me. Sometimes I'll get out of bed, come to the computer, and I have a speech to text thing for my email. So that's like a much easier way. So you're not focusing on writing and stuff. That's how I prefer to do it. Anyway, every time you wake up, no matter what time it is, write down everything you can remember about your dreams, even if it's just a small detail or emotion. And just like I said, do that because as you do that, you're extracting or unzipping that file. You really, really are. Don't be like, oh, that didn't mean anything. Just write it down anyway. You might be surprised. Set an alarm to wake up a bit earlier when you're more likely to recall a dream. Linger a moment before getting up. Think about dreams and review your notes from the night before. And then it says better sleep may help you remember your dreams. Here's some tips for getting quality sleep. Avoid caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine, particularly in the few hours before bedtime. Get regular aerobic exercise. This is in line with what Richard G. Scott was saying. Remember this? He says, he's talking about personal revelation, and he says some interesting stuff about dreams. He says, on the other hand, spiritual communication can be enhanced by good health practices, exercise, reasonable amounts of sleep, and good eating habits increase our capacity to receive and understand revelation. I think he was thinking about what we're reading right now. And then later he says, revelation can also be given in a dream when there is a almost imperceptible transition from sleep to wakefulness. If you strive to capture the content immediately, you can record great detail, but otherwise it fades rapidly. And boy, is that true. I want to say, was Richard G. Scott, wasn't he like a doctor? His college girlfriend began working as a nuclear engineer for the naval forces under the... Scott's scientific career ended in 1977. Okay, so he was a scientist. Okay. All right. So anyway, going back. So get regular exercise. Go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time every day. Eliminate electronic screens in the bedroom. Do something relaxing in the hour before you go to bed. All right. And that is it. So hopefully that helps. Look into this further. Don't just rely just on this video. Really study this stuff. I would encourage you to learn how to dream and remember dreams. I think it's important. All right, that's going to be it for this one. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.